guys come on in from the lobby? Why don't you guys stand to your feet and sing along with us?
Of heaven's skies, I've been given a taste of something that nothing in this world can satisfy. I know that the time is coming when I will be in glorious delight. I know I will run through heaven's brilliant streets of gold, shouting hallelujah, Christ alone.
Mother's Day. Woo! I got scared. I looked up and I saw lyrics to the next song said Father, and I thought I said the wrong word. It scared me. It's like, oh, it was the wrong holiday. Well, I just wanted to welcome you guys, introduce myself. My name's Jeremy Arsenault. I'm the creative arts director here and one of the worship leaders. What we're doing this morning is we're singing and we're celebrating what God has done in our lives and what He's going to do in our lives. And we're here just to worship Him and thank Him for everything that's happening. And if it's your first time here and you don't quite feel comfortable with it, that's fine. You don't have to stand along. You don't have to sing along. You don't have to stand up. But man, we invite you to do it and have fun while you're doing it. So we're going to keep singing this song, How Deep the Father's Love. I just encourage you to sing along with us.
Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that He should give His his only Son to make a wretch his treasure. How great the pain of searing loss. The Father turns his face away as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. Upon my sin upon his shoulders, ashamed I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is power, no wisdom, but I will boast in Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection. What should I gain from his reward? I cannot give an answer, no. But this I know with all my heart, his wounds have paid my ransom. How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that he should give his only Son to make a wretch his treasure. How deep the Father's love, how deep the Father's love, how deep the Father's love, how deep the Father's love. Sing how deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that he should give his only Son to make a wretch his treasure. atmosphere is changing now. For the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around. And the Spirit of the Lord is here. Overflow in this place. Fill our hearts with your love. Your love surrounds us. You're the reason we came to encounter your love. Your love surrounds us. The atmosphere is changing now. For the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around. That the Spirit of the Lord is here. The atmosphere is changing. Here in this place, for the Spirit all around. That the Spirit of the Lord is here. You're here, Lord. You're here, Lord. You're here, Lord. You're in this place. You're here, Lord. You're here, Lord. Praise your name. Praise. Praise your name. Praise your name, Lord. Praise you. Praise you. God, thank you that you love us. Thank you that you're a God that will sacrifice his life to save us. God, no, we don't deserve that. We know that. We're here to just thank you and worship you, God. God, we love you so much. God, I pray you be with us as we continue the rest of this service, as we hear the word that Pastor Nate has for us, that you've brought to him. God, I pray that we really listen. We take this next part as just as passionately as we did this music. God, this is the next part of worship, to hear the word that you've brought to your church. And God, I just pray that you get us all ready for that, get us in that mindset to learn. God, we love you so much, and we praise you for everything that you do. We pray this in Jesus' name, amen. Well, hey, why don't you guys shake someone's hand and then grab a seat.
Woohoo! Good morning. Welcome to church. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the room. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Brian. You're a great mom. Oh, there goes your kid. So glad you're here this morning. My name is Chris. I am one of the pastors here at Restoration Church, and we're just glad that you're here. And this morning, any lady in the room, doesn't matter what age, what type of lady you are, moms, non-moms, whatever, we want you to have a chance to win a massage to Adagio Spa, 1 hour massage. Pretty exciting. So all you have to do is fill out the connection cards. It should be in the backs of the seats. Do you see those? I forgot. I didn't even look to see that they used them all. Okay. Just if there isn't one, raise your hand. We'll get you one. But fill out the connection card with your name. You can put your email. And if you're a first-time guest or if you want to let us know about something, you can check off one of the boxes. And at the end of service, I'm going to draw that. So while you guys are doing that, and the ushers are just in a moment, they're going to collect those once you guys fill them out. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share a story from my childhood. And this is a different story. Don't worry, Mom. And she didn't like the one I shared in the first service. So If you want the recording, I'll get it to you. And so, I was probably about 16 years old, and my then not brother-in-law was my sister's boyfriend, I believe. At the time, I don't know, Mike Mayo, good old Mike Mayo. We decided to get into paintball. And just so you know, you should always wear a mask, and a full-face mask, and potentially a cup and other things that are important. And you should protect yourself. But anyway, we put on some like ski goggles and maybe a hat or something like that. Luckily, this doesn't end with tragedy. We're okay. But we played. I lived in a neighborhood where the houses were right next to each other, so like 15 feet away, there's another house. I don't know what we were thinking. I was 16, he was probably 20, maybe, so really he should have been thinking. It's his fault. We were running around the house shooting each other with paintballs. Now, for some reason, I had a good idea of hiding behind a glass door, a glass storm door, and then Mike had an even better idea of shooting me behind the glass door, and not just one, but just kept going and going and going, and then eventually it just shattered. And at that point, I don't think Mike's ever seen my mom mad, and she came up, she was pretty mad, and but you know what's amazing about moms is they love you still at the end. So she was mad, we had to clean it up, and then we kept playing paintball in the woods. And we learned that you should wear a mask when you play paintball. We are very lucky. Yeah, God must have had his angels around our faces, or glass windows. And that's just a story from my childhood. I'm sure you guys have plenty of those from your mom. So remember those, call your mom, say Happy Mother's Day, do something nice for her today. If she doesn't live near you, send her a gift from Amazon. Same day shipping, if you forgot. So it's Mother's Day. All right, so just a moment, Pastor Nate is coming up. He's going to be continuing our series, I Am, which we've been going through, and it's just about Jesus, all the 7 different things that Jesus said he is. So a lot of times we say we don't, I'm a loser. I am not good enough. I'm not whatever. Fill in the blank for your own life. And Jesus says, I am, so you are. So that is what we've been preaching about. And the band, they're right there. They're going to be playing. Now, I want to just quickly tell you, Ainsley over here is playing the viola. And I've been waiting for years for someone to be playing an instrument like this, because I think they're amazing, especially when you just have acoustic guitar and whatever. But you guys are going to be blown away. She is 13 years old, okay? She is the best musician in this place. Sorry, Jason. That's her dad. No. Oh, she's coming. No, she's really good. I'm excited. This song's good. Pastor Nate will be up as soon as they're done, so let's listen to it and get ready.
In this place, at peace on my way, your smile as I roll sings joy to my soul. lost in grace, lost in grace. I'm in over my head, wrapped in light. Tapestries of wonder fill my eyes. Running under rainbows, so the light of your face, a vibrant ray. My world is aglow, color and hope, and all my running, your redemption betrays. At your cross of my exhausting grace, now I wander in your glorious face, lost in grace, lost in grace, lost in grace, lost in grace.
Morning. My name is Nate, and I'm the lead pastor here at Restoration Church. And it's my privilege to be able to share God's word with you this morning. And if you've never been to church before, what we do during this time of our service is we open the Bible, and today specifically we're looking at the words of Jesus and studying those and learning from those and allowing ourselves to be changed by those words. We're in a series called I Am, as Chris said, and we're looking at 7 different I Am statements that were recorded by John in the account of John. John was one of the guys who Jesus invited to follow him, and he made that decision to do that, and is one of the 12 disciples, one of the apostles, and he recorded the events that he saw Jesus do. He recorded the things that he heard Jesus say in the Gospel of John, or in the account of the good news of Jesus. And in that account, he recorded 7 different statements that Jesus made about himself. And these statements allow us to understand more about Jesus and who he is and what his character is like, and how he's concerned for us and what he thinks about us, and help us understand who he really is, and beyond maybe what you've been taught or what you've experienced or maybe what you've understood before. So we're looking at those this morning, and we'll be in John chapter 10, the second part of John chapter 10 today, and last week we were in the first part of John chapter 10. Now, when I was probably about 15 years ago, maybe right around then, I had gone four-wheeling with my older brother at some power lines in Barrington, and it was one of those beautiful May days, not one that we've experienced thus far in May, but one of those hot May days, hopefully like they're predicting for Thursday, and it's supposed to be 85 degrees on Thursday, so let that be a Mother's Day gift for you, Michelle. And so it's one of those just amazing days, just beautiful days. We're out four-wheeling, trails that we've always gone, this power lines we've always gone, and we get through this one part, and there's one of those orange temporary fences set up right across the trail, right through the power line. And so I hadn't seen anything like that before, so my brother stopped, and I stopped, we got on our four-wheelers and realized that there were a couple hundred goats on the other side of that temporary fence. So I'd never seen anything like that. Maybe you've never had before, but here's what they do. They set up these temporary fencing down the power lines, and they fill it purposely with goats, and the goats eat everything. They eat all the shrubs, all the grass, they eat it down. So instead of mowing the power lines, they fill it with goats, and the goats eat them. And so they just do this, they set them up in a section for a period of time, then they move to another section, and so pay attention, and you might see this yourself. So we get off our four-wheelers, take our helmets, we're kind of admiring the goats, and so we go to look through, like maybe we can just put down move the orange fence and push the four-wheelers through it and continue on. And when we approach the orange fence, all of a sudden, this sheepdog comes flying out, which we hadn't even seen before, comes flying out from around the herd or the flock of goat, and just snarling at us, teeth showing, barking like he's listening to the Baja Man, just insane, telling us, like, in between us and the goats, vicious, angry. And so we're like, back up a little bit. I'm like, wow, that's insane. That's a big sheepdog. And, but again, just kind of watching it. And the dog is not stopping. I mean, he didn't catch his breath for a second. And he's just insane. And so anyway, we put on our four-wheeler helmets, we turn around, and we go four-wheeling the other direction for the day. Kind of that picture that I experienced, I wonder if maybe it's something that you've experienced before. Now, in this series, we're talking about the I am statements of Jesus. Today, we're studying the statement where Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. And we'll be looking at that. But maybe as you think about Jesus, you're thinking about him through an experience you had in church. And when you tried to approach Jesus, for one reason or another, you were met by a sheepdog. And as you tried to investigate Jesus and find out about Jesus or become part of a church, there was some snarling individual there between you and Jesus, or you and church, that kept you from meeting him. And so you've never investigated further, but you're here this morning. Now, when Jesus made these statements, these I am statements, what we begin to see through this entire series is, as he reveals himself to us, we begin to see how much he loves you. We begin to see how much he cares for you. We begin to see how much he's concerned for you. And we begin to see even how much he's living for you. Let's begin to read in John chapter 10. Jesus said this, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd sacrifices his life for the sheep. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. He will abandon the sheep because they don't belong to him. He isn't their shepherd. So the wolf attacks them and scatters the flock. The hired hand runs away because he's only working for the money and doesn't really care about the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own sheep and they know me, just as my Father knows me and I know the Father. So I sacrifice my life for the sheep. I have other sheep too that are not in this sheepfold. I must bring them also. They will listen to my voice, and there will be one flock with one shepherd. The Father loves me because I sacrifice my life so I may take it back again. No one can take my life from me. I sacrifice it voluntarily, for For I have the authority to lay it down when I want to, and also to take it up again. For this is what my Father has commanded. Jesus used this shepherd illustration, and it's not a concept that we understand or that's visible to us, but the culture in which he was living and which he was teaching this, they understood it, and they were understanding what he was teaching, what he was saying. Earlier, and I talked about this last week, he was talking with the illustration that he is the door for the sheep, and we talked about that last week. You can listen to that online, and he's using this to chastise and to rebuke some religious leaders who were there and who were ticked off at him. But everybody is familiar with this illustration. He's talking to the religious leaders of Israel. He's talking to the people of Israel. And they were people who followed Jesus' father. They had followed Father God and were a nation established by him. And so they were familiar with the Old Testament and they studied it. So throughout the Old Testament, Jesus compares the nation of Israel to being sheep. He compares himself to being a shepherd. And he even talks about the religious leaders and rebukes them for being shepherds who weren't any good and for being hirelings, which is an illustration that Jesus continues here in this chapter. I've encountered many people who've rejected Jesus because they think of him as a sheepdog. They think of him as angry at them, as mad at them. And when I have a conversation, or maybe you know some people, when you have conversation about them, about heaven, their assumption is that God wouldn't want them in heaven. That Jesus wouldn't want them in heaven. And they think that Jesus is like a sheepdog keeping people from his people, keeping people from eternity, keeping people from the good things he has. You stay on the outside of that orange temporary fence. This is not a place for you. And people begin to think that God is against them. So they get a flat tire on the way to church, and they think, all right, that's it. It's a sign God doesn't want me. They tried to come to the early service this morning, and the road shut down because they're running a 5K right during the time people are supposed to come into church. They get there, they're like, it's all blockaded. They must have known I was coming today. And so they're like, that's it. It's a sign God doesn't want me to go to church. They go to Starbucks to try to order a unicorn frappuccino. They're all sold out. And they think God's judging me. They think everything that ever happens to us, God's against me. God hates me. God doesn't like me. God's punishing me. But through these I am statements, and through this statement today, I am the Good Shepherd, we begin to see who Jesus really is and what he thinks about you. Look at verse number 11. Jesus said this, I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd sacrifices his life for the sheep. The Good Shepherd sacrifices his life. Jesus gave his life to give his life. Jesus gave his life to give us life. And we talked about this last week, that he gave his life to give us eternal life and to give us abundant life. We started reading this morning at verse number 11, but last week we ended with verse number 10, and I'll read that to you out of the Amplified Bible. The words of Jesus, the thief comes only in order to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have and enjoy life and have it in abundance to the full till it overflows. That is Jesus' mission. I came to give life. He didn't come to act like a sheepdog. He didn't come to keep you from good things, to keep you from heaven. He came to give you life and to give you eternal life, that you would experience now and forevermore the goodness and the greatness and the joy of God. He doesn't come like a sheepdog. He's not angry with you. Jesus, though, kind of talks about this. He talks about the hired hands or the hirelings. And they run when wolves attack. They don't give their life. They're not laying down their life for the sheep. They're in it for the benefit of what they get. Now, kind of what would happen, when we have a visual of a shepherd with sheep, we think like 10 sheep, 15 sheep, we're thinking like that. But if you recall, Job was one of the guys in the Bible whose life was written about. He had sheep, and then he lost everything. When God restored his flock and restored it to double, he had, it's estimated, about 14,000 sheep in his flock. This is a lot. All right, it's not just casual work here. He's very, very wealthy because he has so many sheep. And it would be probably impossible for one guy to lead that many sheep because how are they going to follow his voice if they can't hear his voice? They're a mile and a half down the road. They're going through a single file line. So what would happen is, as someone had a huge flock, their sons would raise and be in charge of different parts of the flock. So if you think about King David, before he was King David, what was he? He was a shepherd boy tending to his father's flock. And so that was kind of the family business and the job, and that's what you have your kids do. You know, so your kids are like complaining you're making them do dishes. Why don't you just buy them a few hundred sheep and have them tend to that, and just let them know what it was like in Old Testament time. So what would happen if you didn't have kids, or your kids weren't good at taking care of sheep, or they were really into swans? I don't know. What you do is you would then hire shepherds to tend to different parts of your sheep. So this was minimum wage job, low on the social scale. So you're not trying to pick up girls and be like, hey, I'm a shepherd. It's not going to work for you. And they were despised by religious people. They were despised by the rich people. And so what would happen is someone who gets hired to take care of someone else's sheep, when bears would come or wolves would come, what would the hired hand do? He'd take off. He's like, I'm not getting paid enough for this. I don't care about these sheep. I'm not worried. So I'm not risking my life and my future for someone else's sheep. They take off running. And what would happen to the sheep? They would get slaughtered. They would just get killed. And the hired hand, the hireling, didn't care about it. What did they care about? They cared about the money. So they were in it for a paycheck. They weren't in it because they loved the sheep. Now think about David. King David, what was his legacy when he had to face Goliath? What did he say? He said, well, I've killed a lion. I've killed a bear. He put his life at risk, at jeopardy, because he cared about those sheep. He had ownership of those sheep. Those sheep were part of his inheritance. So if he lost one, it was less money for him. But he was thinking in the long term, big picture. The hired hands as well, they weren't concerned of the quality of life for the sheep. They were just, as long as they all came back at the end of the day, that's all they cared about, because then they get their paycheck. But the shepherd who cared, he would inspect, he would care for the sheep. We talked about last week how when they were in the country, they would build these pens out of rocks and they put thorns on the top to protect the sheep at nighttime from predators and from thieves. And then the shepherd would lay there would be a narrow entrance into the pen, and the shepherd would lay there and sleep during the night so nothing could access the sheep, and then the sheep could leave except over his dead body, essentially. And so he was the door, he was the entrance for the sheep into the pastures, into the abundant life, but also he was the door and he was the protector of the sheep from the wolves. And when at the end of the day, when he would call the sheep into the pen, he would take his rod or a staff and he would put it low in front of the gate. So when the sheep would have to come in, they wouldn't all just rush in one by one, but they would have to kind of duck under the rod, and that would slow them down enough as they would crawl under it that he could inspect them for injury, for bruise, or for parasite. I don't know what it would be, like ticks living on, or he would inspect them. And so then as they were passing through the rod, he could see, and if they had a broken leg or they were bleeding, he could then take them and separate them from the flock so he could mend to them and care for them and then put them back in, because he was concerned for them. They weren't just a paycheck for him. They were his livelihood. It was his flock. So he tended to them, he cared for them. And this is, again, another example of what Jesus is saying in his concern for you. He cares for you.
Amen.
When you hurt, he's aware of it.
Come on.
And he wants to take care of you. What happens, and what I've experienced in my life as I've tried to help people to meet Jesus, is that people hate church and people hate Jesus because of their interaction with hired hands. They've come to church and they've worked with people who acted like sheepdogs, and they yell at you, and they tell you what you're doing wrong, and they treat you wrong, and sometimes even people come to church and people subtly or not so subtly tell you, you don't belong here, we don't want people like you here, you need to leave. And it's crazy that these stories happen, but they really happen. If you're going to come to this church, maybe you should dress better. These stupid stories. And I was friends with a guy who was a youth pastor in Providence, Rhode Island, and they started having 60, 70 kids showing up at youth group that night, coming off the streets, just showing up for church, hearing about the good news of Jesus. And the church told them, we don't want kids like that coming to our church. We don't want them influencing our church kids. And so he got fired. He got fired because the youth group grew. And he had an opportunity to share with them about Jesus. Heard another story from another pastor. Poor people were coming to the church, and because of his influence and his work in the community, and he was just kind of confronted by the church people. Listen, we don't want people like that coming in here. It makes us uncomfortable. And then I heard just an unfortunate story of a pastor on a podcast. He was pastoring in another part of the country, and an African American couple had come to the church. He was excited about that, and but the church, as soon as church was over, the leadership, some of the lay leadership from the church had a meeting with him, and they said, "This is a white church. We don't want black people coming here." He resigned on the spot. He was a good man. Resigned on the spot. It's crazy the way people act. So you may, at some point in your life, you tried to pursue Jesus, but there were sheepdogs there, barking at you, and snarling at you, and frothing at the mouth. And you thought, and you just came to the conclusion, all right, I don't have anything to do with Jesus, but I want you to hear the words of Jesus. I want you to hear who he is and how he's concerned for you. He's not a sheepdog. He didn't hire a bunch of sheepdogs to keep the church in line and to keep the other people out. He lays down his life.
Amen. Amen.
Jesus never runs when he never runs when bad stuff happens. Because when he sees you, he sees something that belongs to him.
That's right. Come on.
He's not, and this is one of the reasons why the religious people were so ticked off at him. If you were here last week, this entire discourse in John chapter 10, it happened because Jesus healed a guy who was blind since birth. Amazing miracle, but the religious leaders were ticked off at Jesus for that. There's a few different reasons. One, they were hirelings, and Jesus was calling them out on that. They weren't celebrating the fact that this Jewish guy could now see. They were ticked off at the fact that people were being drawn to Jesus, and he was getting all the attention. They were concerned about their money. They were concerned about their position and their power. And so they were trying at this point, they had full schemes and full plans developed on how they were going to kill Jesus in Israel because he was affecting their ability to be sheepdogs. They were affecting, ultimately, like, kind of figuratively and probably literally a little bit, their paycheck. And so Jesus is he's just outright confronting him. He doesn't run because when he sees you, he sees something that he's given his life for. And he would give his life for all over again. He doesn't see you, and at church we don't see you to make the church bigger, when he sees you, he sees who he created. And he sees who he loves. And he sees who he wants to care for. Verse number 14 says this. He says, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and they know me. The good shepherd knows his sheep. He knows you. He cares about you. He loves you. He knows what's going on in your life. But the second part of this, I love. The sheep, they know him. One of the things that we want you to know is not just to get involved in the church and to experience kind of the community of it and the fun that it is being part of Restoration Church and being a part of Christianity. What we want you to do is to know Jesus. His sheep know him, and you can know Jesus. We think, well, he's in heaven, I'm here on earth. How's that possible? But we can know him well. We believe in Jesus, and sometimes, and even when I talk with people, one thing that is common in conversations is people say, I believe in Jesus, I believe there's a God, but it doesn't go beyond that. It's just an understanding of him. But one of the things that changed my life, and I talked about this before, so forgive me, those of you who come here all the time, that I always share this story, but it was so impactful and so significant in my life. When I was 14 years old, and I had always believed in Jesus. And I always believed in God. When I was born, my dad was serving as an associate pastor, helping to lead a church in this area. And so when I was born, my family were Christian. But my mom and dad were both Christian. And I grew up going to church from an infant my entire life. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I made the decision to give my heart to Jesus, and I meant it. And then I tried to live to follow him and to please him, to obey him. So when I was 8 or 9 years old and I tried swearing on the playground to fit in, I didn't like it. It made me feel uncomfortable. I was convicted of my sin, and so I didn't swear. I stopped swearing. I wanted to please Jesus with my life. But when I was 14 years old and it was at a youth group service, and I went forward for prayer for a need that was hurting me, all of a sudden in that moment, Jesus changed my life. He absolutely, in my heart of hearts, changed my life. And I'll never forget sitting there that Wednesday night youth group, or it could have been a Sunday night, sitting there that night at 14 years old, all of a sudden, just my mind blown as I realized I've always believed in Jesus, but I had no idea he knew who I was. I didn't know that he knew me. And that changed my life. Definitely, I had middle child syndrome, so I had an older brother and an older sister, a little sister and a little brother, so I just always felt forgotten and ignored, and no one knew me, and no one knew I existed. So I had that going on, and all of a sudden to know that the creator of heaven and earth knew who Nate Gagne was. That moment changed my life. And he healed me. He healed my heart. He did things in my life that I didn't know he could do or wanted to do. He healed hurts in my life that I didn't even know he knew about it. I never talked to him about it because I didn't know he could even do anything like that. And what we want to do at Restoration Church is for you to know Him like that. Not just to be a part of a church, not just to give and to help pay the bills. We want you to know Jesus. That's our mission. That's what we're here for. That's everything that we're doing is for that. We don't want you to just live a moral lifestyle so you feel good about yourself. We want you to know Jesus. To have that moment like I had with him when I was 14 years old that changed me forever. By the time I was 15, I knew I'd be doing this the rest of my life because it so impacted me. I want other people to know that and experience that for themselves. In 2015, I brought my family on a road trip, family vacation. And so as part of that trip, it was a Sunday morning, we were camping, we woke up and packed up our campsite and then drove to church. It was in Cincinnati, and then when church was over, we went to a Cincinnati Reds game. And I've been to a few different ballparks and a few different baseball games. And this summer I'll get to hopefully go to an Anaheim Angels game in Anaheim, California, so that'll be fun. But so this Sunday, here we are. We went to a Cincinnati Reds game. It was a beautiful, beautiful day and a beautiful baseball park, if you hear about things like that. And so the game's over. We had like the upper grandstand seats. They were probably $13 each. And so the game's all over. We're up here. It's the third floor in Ohio. And family's in the restroom, and I'm standing in the hallway with one of the little kids. And those big hallways at the baseball park. And my wife comes out with some of the kids in the restaurant, and I tell her, I said, I know that guy over there. And she's like, no, you don't. I said, I know that guy over there. And then she's like, yeah, you know people everywhere. And I couldn't remember his name, though, and I didn't want to go over it. And so anyway, I'm texting my roommate from college, and so he reminds me of his name. And so then he looks back at me, like he did a double take at me, and I'm like, that's it, I do know. And so I go over, but this time someone texted me back, I'm pretty sure, or I just never said his name, but I go over to him, and I start talking to him, and it's my brother's roommate from college. So we went to college in Rhode Island, and so there, that guy is on the third floor of the ballpark in the middle of Ohio, and actually Cincinnati's not the middle, but you get it. And but all the way across the country, what are the odds that I'm going to see someone I know there? Now, coincidentally, weirdly enough, I had another friend from Tennessee who was at the baseball game that same Sunday that I found out a couple weeks later, but I never bumped into him. But what are the chances of that happening? Listen, here's what I want you to get and understand. Jesus knows exactly where you are.
That's right.
It's not a coincidence that he'll bump into you. It's not a coincidence for me at 14 years old when all of a sudden he changed my life and he's like, oh, fancy meeting you here. He was after me. And he's after you, and we've said this, we say this a lot. If you're here this morning, you're like, I have no idea why I'm in church this morning. I know why. He's after you.
That's right.
He's after you. He's trying to help you to hear about him, to put your trust in him, so that he can just blow your mind too, and show you his goodness and his concern for you and his love for you. In verse 16 it says, it goes on to say, the good shepherd of everyone. I have other sheep too that are not in this sheepfold. And this is where crazy people say, there's aliens, see? You know, he's people not in these other galaxies. He's got other people that he... And listen, in this passage, at this point of history, Israel, they've been waiting for the Messiah, and all they know, the only people who are really following God are Jewish people. There's occasionally other people who would convert to Judaism and give away their, change their lifestyle to follow the law. But all they know is God is for Jewish people. That's all they know. And what Jesus is saying here is now, I want you to know, I have come for humanity. I didn't come for one race. I didn't come for for one people, I've come for all people. And he was telling them here, after my crucifixion, after my resurrection, we're expanding this. God loves everyone. And he loves you. Verse 17 says, the Father loves me because I sacrificed my life so I may take it back again. And here he's foretelling his crucifixion. He knew he came to die. He knew the time was coming. He knew he was going to die. And he knew he had the authority. He would be making the decision to lay down his life for sheep, for us. He was going to do it. And he also knew that when he decided he didn't want to be dead anymore, he's going to take his life back up again. He had the authority and the power to do that. I want to tell you a story here. And then I'll interrupt myself a couple times. But as a party of tourists, they were on their way to Palestine, and they had a tourist guide who was describing some of the customs of the East. Now he said, you're accustomed to seeing the shepherd driving his sheep through the English lanes. Out in the East, however, things are different, for the shepherd always leads the way, going on in front of the flock, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. Excuse me. I talked about this last week, that when we watch sheepdog videos on YouTube, or just all of the movies we watch from Australia or from England, there's a guy and there's a bunch of dogs, and they're forcing the sheep where they want to go. And that's the type of sheep herding that we're familiar with. But in this culture, it's different. The shepherd would lead, and the sheep would follow him. They would follow his voice. And so he could go in, there could be 10,000 sheep there of all different shepherds. He would yell for his sheep, and only his sheep would follow him out of that pen. He wouldn't have to divide them. He would just call, they would all follow him, and he'd go out and follow him wherever he would lead them. He would lead them to good places. And so the tourist guide is telling these people that, like, this is how it is here. The sheep, they follow their shepherd. So, continue, they reached Palestine, and to the amusement of the tourists, almost the first thing they saw was a flock of sheep being driven along by men. The guide was astonished, and immediately made it his business to approach the shepherd. How is it that you are driving these sheep, he asked. I had always been told that the Eastern shepherd leads his sheep. The guy responded, I'm not the shepherd, I'm the butcher. We think about approaching Jesus. Sometimes we're rejecting Jesus because we've been harassed by sheepdogs, we've been mistreated or abandoned by hired hands, or we've been driven along by people who are butchers. But Jesus is not that. He's a good shepherd. He laid down his life for us. He laid down his life for you. Jesus never demanded that others follow him. He doesn't drive people into obedience and into following him. If you want to leave and you want to wander, you don't want to follow him, he'll let you make that decision. But if you want to follow him, he showed us who he is. He invites us to follow him in that life. His attitude was to give himself for the sheep, and that demonstrates to us the love of God for us. That Christ, even while we were still sinners, even while we were enemies of God, he came to earth, knowing that he would die, willingly give up his life for us. Before we would ever agree to follow him, he gave up his life for us because he loves us. He shows us the heart of God for us. And then he didn't just die, and that was the end of it, but he lives. He continues to live. He continues to pray for us. He continues to lead us. He continues to give us and promise us a gift of eternal life and provide for us an abundant, overflowing life now. He doesn't run from us. He didn't run away from us to heaven, but now, through the Holy Spirit, he's with us, and he guides us, and he helps us. Throughout history, there have been those who have led great nations and great kingdoms. their mind is always, how can they stay in power? How can they keep their control and their rule? Only one came to sacrifice himself, although he already had all the power. Only one gave up all of his power in order that he would reach just one more. Jesus is the Good Shepherd. Would you close your eyes and let's pray? Jesus, we give our lives to you today. For those of us who know you, man, we thank you. And we do know you. We know who you are. The joy is to follow you. For those in here who have been they tried to interact with you and tried to discover you, but they were harassed by sheepdogs or abandoned by hirelings or driven by butchers. Yeah, we just pray that you would heal their heart. Heal them, God, from how they were mistreated. And we pray they'll know you, follow you, the Good Shepherd. That if anybody ever rejects you, it'll be because they're rejecting you and who you are, not because of how some idiot interacted with them. If some idiot tried to misrepresent you. Just pray, Jesus. We would know you as good. We would love you as you've loved us. And we pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Nate. And, it's good. It's good to remember, why we come here week after week. And to go along with Pastor Nate was saying about different things that happen in churches, stories that you would never think could happen. I heard a story of a church that I believe it was the secretary, just said, we don't do church for people that are outside the church. We want to make sure we keep the people that are tithing happy. We want to make sure we're taking care of them and their needs. And it's just like this wrong mindset that we don't give to a country club. We give because people need to know Jesus. And I love being a part of this church because I believe people here give because they want to see people know Jesus. And we're about to do that right now. The ushers are coming forward. I'm going to pray in just a minute, but if you're new here this morning, don't feel like you need to give. Don't feel like you have to feel obligated because you came in here. This is for the people of this church. If you want to put a connection card in, feel free to do that. We would love to connect with you, get to know you. If you have any questions, you can put those on there. We'll email you or call you, whichever you prefer. But we're going to pray and remember why we're here. We're here to worship God, but we're here to get pumped up, go back out into the world, go back to our places of work, to the people that we interact with every day, and show them the love of Christ by the way that we live, by the way that we love them and care for them. So let's pray. God, we thank you for all that you do. We thank you for the people that, God, that you place in our lives, God, the people that don't know you, God. Help us to be a shepherd like you, Jesus. Help us to not stand in the way, to be crazy sheepdog, God, but help us to love people like you love people. We thank you for all you do. Pray that you would help us to give joyfully, help us to give obediently, and because, God, you call us to give. We don't give because we have to. We give because we get to. Thank you for blessing us, God, for taking care of us. God, that with you, we don't need to fear, God. We know that you will take care of all our needs. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. So we're going ahead and we'll pass those down the aisles. And now for the part everyone's been waiting for. I'm going to ask Jason, my lovely assistant. This is the father of Ainsley, the second best musician. He's going to pick out a card so that no one thinks I picked out my wife's card. Wait, let me shuffle them. Does anyone else have another one? I forgot to ask. Double check. Oh, we got one coming. Yeah. Jason taught me that. All right, here we go. I can read the name. Karen Conway. Woo, Karen! I'll bring it. I can bring it to you after I got up here. All right. Nicely done. She put like 20 cards in there. All right. We got one announcement before we take off. The 25th of June is a special Sunday here. Something we've never done before. This guy with all the muscles is coming here to tell his story. Ken Shamrock, UFC champion, or in Champion Hall of Fame, whatever you call it. Talk to Pastor Nate. He's super passionate about it. We are too, because we're excited, because what's going to happen is this is allowing us to reach people that we don't get to reach normally. This is an opportunity for us to invite people that wouldn't normally come to a church, but they want to meet this guy, because this guy is famous. So we're not inviting him because he's famous, but because of the story. Jesus changed his life. He was a UFC champion. He had everything, but then he found Jesus, and he realized he didn't have everything. And he's going to share his story. It's going to be fun. Again, something we've never done before, but if you have stuff, your friends have stuff they want autographed, he's going to do that after as well. It's an awesome opportunity to reach people that don't know Jesus, and by just his testimony and sharing what God has done in his life. So invite your friends to that. It's on the 25th. We'll have invites for you next week, and it's going to be fun. So the band's going to sing us out. Why don't you stand? And I'm going to pray. And I just want you to, if you do want prayer, you can come up here. And this is my mother. She will pray with you. And she won't be mad at you. She's really nice. And but let's just pray really quick. And the band will sing. If you need to leave, feel free to leave. You're dismissed after this. God, we thank you for all that you do. We thank you for saving us, God, that we know you and you know us. God, we ask that you would take the passion that we have in our hearts for you, God, and to live it out in the places that we go, God, that it wouldn't be just a Sunday thing that we live for you, God, but we would do it every single day, and that people would ask questions. They would want to know why we have so much joy. They'd want to know why we go to church, why we follow you. We thank you for all you do. We pray you use us, change us, and help us to be more like Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen. Happy Mother's Day.